Barber, jump in, just yell out. We'll get going. Um, all right. All right. So Tyrell, again, I like having better headline here, like a little bit more like passion about helping families into luxury living, I think is better for me than real estate agent. You know what I mean? It just sounds a little
Okay.
more interesting, more benefit oriented to the viewer, right? So I would maybe flip those two.
So
Right.
remove the real estate agent and put the one where I put helping families transition.
Yeah, and do you have a specialty for real estate, or like are you focusing on a community in Maryland, or only on military veterans, only on, you know, CEO? I don't know. Like, what is that? Who are you helping move into? Who are you helping move into that community, into luxury homes? Do you know what I mean by that question?
Oh, I thought I was unmuted, but I meant to say I'm not sure
Okay.
yet.
So I would don't try to be, this goes for anyone, like whether you're starting your own business or going to work for someone else, both have a dialed in focus on what it is you are good at,
Okay.
what it is you're doing. Don't say I'm a real estate agent for everybody in Maryland, because that's too general, right? You can just pick a segment, like I help military veterans find luxury homes in Maryland, right? And there's enough of an audience in Maryland of military veterans that you can serve. And now you're the subject matter expert for that. And don't try to sell a home to people who are not veterans. Like
Okay.
being a subject matter expert is, I think, just so important. It'll just set you guys apart from everybody else, right? You
Yes.
know, just you make the other person feel like they're getting an expert at your, you know, you can't be an expert and appeal to everyone. It doesn't happen. But you can be the best real estate agent in Baltimore, Maryland, who helps military veterans find great homes and sell their homes, right? And now you're the go-to guy for any vet, and word will spread now in that community when vets talk to one another. Oh, have you talked to, you know, Tyrell? He's the guy you got to go to, not the random person who just will sell a home to anybody, right? Same thing with your job. If you're going to go work for somebody else, just get really, really good at something and say, I'm going to get into the top 1% of that job title. And to do that, you have to focus. You got to pick something. Don't just be a cyber analyst, be a whatever, penetration tester. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually had a question about that.
Yeah.
So if you had to, when you pick and choose things like this, what could be like some steps to take to make sure that you pick, I guess, the right one or
Yeah, the great question. And I'm not the guy to ask for real estate because I've never done it, right? But
you know,
somebody else, somebody tell who should Tyrell talk to? He's trying to find a niche for um for his real estate business, right? Who would be a good one to talk to? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I would go on, LinkedIn and try to find somebody that meets, the criteria that you're looking for, like somebody who's doing exactly what you're doing, and just cold call them and be like, "Hey man, like here's who I am, and could you tell me about your experience? Like the stuff
Yeah,
we've been doing here every damn day, man. Just do it. Don't be afraid, man. And if they say no, then move on to the next guy. There's a million
spot
people
on.
out there. I'm
Spot
sure.
on, man, Jesse. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
That's exactly what it is, Tyrell. I would even take it a step further. Find somebody who's got that job where you look at that person And whether it's helping vets or helping retiree, it doesn't matter. But somebody who's doing it really well, somebody who you feel like, wow, they are absolutely kicking ass. They're probably making a ton of money, right? Like I'm thinking, I know a few people in real estate, and we have a family friend who's down in Naples, Florida, and I just see her on LinkedIn every week. Like, here's another $1 million home I sold this week. Another one. Here's the one I just da da da. And I'm like, holy moly, she is absolutely tearing it up. Like, find that person and let them mentor you on what to pick, right? And just like Jesse said, that will come very easily to you once you have those discussions. I can't, whether it's helping vets or helping, people who live in a certain town in Baltimore, in Maryland, and just dominate it.
So,
But
so I,
this
oh,
is what I meant by the headlines. Like, you see how much better like something like that sounds?
yeah, that does
Or
sound
your
way
LinkedIn.
better for me.
Anyway, is Matt Barber here by the chance?
I am. I finally made it in.
Oh, there he is. All right. Tyrell, we'll pick up with you after. Is that all right? We'll
All right,
finish.
thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it, buddy. All right. Pin Mr. Barber. Get him going. Matt, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So for those of you who were here, I don't know how long ago, it was probably like a month ago. Matt's colleague, Dan McDonald from Spartan, was on. He shared his story, and I thought it was amazing. And Dan introduced me to Matt the other day, and Matt is I was just so impressed with him when we met. He's the director of build operations at Spartan Races, and has been doing it for 13 years. Well, he's had 5 different jobs at Spartan. I think one of the initial employees, right?
Yeah,
Spartan,
I
you
was here
told
from
me.
the very beginning.
And that is amazing. So he's been there when they were just like a startup, all the way to where they are now and dominating the worldwide space that they're in. And served in the military, joined at 34, which is amazing. And I wanted you guys to hear his story because I think it's a really inspiring one. Uh, and hear a little bit more about what he does. And he is also looking for some people to join their team. So I wanted him to come back. I thought it'd be better for you guys to hear about the position from Matt, not me. So anyway, Matt, thanks for taking time today to come on, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to my spiel. Kind of learn a little bit about me and the company.
Yeah, tell them how about the military story, because I thought it was fascinating how you came about joining and what that experience was like, and then what that led to.
It was something I always thought I wanted to do. Go do some fun stuff with some fun people. And at 18, I had bills and a house and car payments, and I was like, I can't do it. And it got to be where I was just in the daily grind, working all day, doing my thing. I've had every job under the sun. Started out working in a slate quarry in Vermont. Did some carpentry, construction. I was a maintenance man for a long time. I was, into a lot of different sports and things like that for pastime hobbies. And I got to be 34, and I had a couple buddies who were cavalry scouts in the National Guard. And there was a unit in Bennington, and, I knew at 34 that was the last point I could get in before I needed a waiver. So I decided to go find a recruiter and have a conversation. And before I knew it, I was in basic training at 34 years old with a bunch of 18-year-old kids. So it was a very interesting dynamic. And of course, drill sergeants all hated me because I was an old man, and I was older than a lot of them, and had a lot of experience under my belt at the time. And, that doesn't bode well when you go in there with a bunch of young kids. So very fun, very interesting. And then, got to my unit and, had a great time. Did 6 years with them and, checked the box. I did my military service, served my country, and, did something good for the world, which, I think everybody should probably try to do. And that, in that amount of time, I was also doing a lot of combat sports and things like that. I taught MMA. I did a bunch of stuff. And as a group activity, we decided to all volunteer and go do a couple fun runs and, things like that. And one of the places we ended up was at a Spartan race, and started volunteering for them, and ended up getting hired on full time with Spartan Race back in 2012. And I've been here ever since. I started out, like I said, as a volunteer. Then I was a crew leader. Then I was a foreman, construction manager, build manager, all the way up through to, director of build operations now. So at this point, I manage about 60 guys on 6 different teams that travel around the country and put on all this stuff. We do have some international races and stuff that we go and do. So got to go to the UAE, Iceland, Sweden, go to Hawaii a couple times a year, all over the place. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely an interesting road that I've taken to get here. But at this point, I love my job. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And, the opportunity to see the final customer enjoy the product and, build what is in essence giant playgrounds for adults is a pretty cool way to pay my bills. So
that is awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. I love your story. I love that you joined at 34, and I love that you started at the bottom and worked your way up the corporate ladder. For those, I'm going to play a quick sizzle video that they have for you guys. For those of you who don't know, I know the group has changed a little bit. We've had a little turnover since Dan came, but let me just play this quickly, and then we're going to get back to Matt. But this will give you a good idea of what they do at oh, wait, hold on. Let me do this again. I forgot to hit the volume. Share sound. All right.
It's electric. It's this energy that kind of flows through everyone.
Being here in the UK is absolutely amazing.
I just woke up this morning and I got dressed up and they said, hey, go do something stupid.
3, 2, 1, go!
I'm getting ready to run 24 hours.
Everyone's going to help each other. Everyone's going to push each other on.
The heat was pretty rough.
I'm feeling better and better now that it's cooled down a little.
I'm excited actually for the night.
I think the night is gonna just bring the good out in me.
So I really want to do at least one lap in the dark.
Don't go to sleep.
Is it deep enough? Show me on 3!
This is the best 24 hours of the year for me. This is where all my people are.
I can't wait for the sun to come out. To see that sun rise, take this wetsuit off and wear some human clothes.
Yeah, there's going to be winners, but every single person that starts is going to be a winner.
It really is the most remarkable, exclusive sporting event. It's just so special.
love it, man. Is that a good representation of one of the races, man?
Yeah, that's what we do. That's world's toughest mudder, right? So Spartan Race is also puts on tough mudders. We put on decas. We put on all kinds of different sporting events like that. You know what I mean? Where it's super challenging. That one in particular is one of the highest level sporting events that we put on. And people go out there and you got 24 hours to make as many laps as you can. You can come into the transition area, get some, refuel, get a piece of bacon or a gel pack and head back out there and see how many you can get. It's that's a good one.
It's all shapes and sizes too of people, and you can tell the fun they're having. Just an incredible experience. Tell everyone a little bit about your team and what your guys do. You do from start to finish, everything we saw there you're setting up.
Yep. I primarily manage like the build crew, right? So the guys who will go out there and construct the obstacles and then kind of manage the course during the event. We start out with a whole bunch of, trailers full of all of our components for the obstacles. Everything's offloaded, and we have all the points out on course marked where all things got to be built. You take all the components, drop them in place, and then the team, comes usually in small man groups, like 4 or 5 guys will go out there and construct each one of the obstacles. Make sure it's all, we have plans for everything. So everything's got to be to plan, and it gets a safety, certification and check by the construction manager once it's done. Then once all your pieces and components and stuff are all put together on each one of the different obstacles all around the course, you go out and you set up your aid stations. There's another group that's also marking the course at the same time, like setting up, to make sure nobody gets lost and everything like that. By that time, it's at the end of the week. You usually get about 7 days to set everything up. Once everything's set up, course is marked. We show up on race day morning. Volunteers are allocated to each guy. You take them out and you teach the volunteer basically how to facilitate and manage the obstacle that they're assigned to. And then you have 4 or 5 obstacles in your zone, and you kind of just circulate through your zone, checking on your volunteers, making sure they're all doing what needs to be done. They understand radio protocol, how to call for if there's a medical issue or if there's an issue with the obstacle. They call you and let you know, and you kind of just float around and make sure everything's good to go. After the race weekend is complete, we now transition back into like the breakdown phase where everything's torn down, packed up, repackaged, moved back to the trailers, loaded, and we're out of there. It's like a glorified carny, we like to use the term. So you're setting up this giant carnival for adults, and it's like snowflakes. No 2 races are the same. No 2 days are the same. No 2 cycles are the same. It's always changing. You're always in, neat places, cool environments, getting to see things that, the average person will never get to see, and that's the fun part.
So Matt's looking for some folks who might want to do this for their first job coming out of the military. So tell them a little bit about what to expect. What makes this a cool experience for you? You got that whole military culture that you're building there, and tell them why it's a cool job for somebody who wants to be outside, not be in an office, maybe have a neat experience.
It's great in the aspect that you're kind of getting to see the world on someone else's dime, or at least the country on someone else's dime for the most part. Pretty much while you travel, you're living for free. We stay in pretty nice hotels. You will have a roommate, so you don't get the room all to yourself, but there's a lot of camaraderie and brotherhood between the group because it's the same guys week after week, month after month, putting on these events and constructing everything together. We have nice vehicles, all, enterprise rentals and stuff, big 2,500 diesels and stuff that we rent to move us to and from the, airport, to and from the hotel. That's what you're using to transport obstacles and things like that around on site. We do have big flatbeds and machinery and things like that, which, most of you guys are used to driving that big stuff anyways. So, and then mainly the brotherhood between the group is what it's all about. You develop your own language, you develop your own, ability to communicate. And a lot of times, depending on how fast you work, you get to go out and experience some of the local culture or see some of the local sites and things like that with these same guys, whether that be going to, check out the Grand Canyon or, go jump in the ocean together or, go for a hike on the backside of Mammoth Mountain out there in California or, any of the other places. We have about 70 races that we do here in the US. So the travel is one of the parts that, as a small country boy, farm boy growing up in Vermont, like I would have never been able to see all the cool stuff that I've been able to see, places that I've been able to go, and have the experiences that I've had. I don't have friends. My work colleagues are my best friends. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that I talk to daily. We have, even from the lowest guy, I manage 60 guys, right? Everybody is of that same mentality, the brotherhood where we all get along. I can get, funny text messages, memes, stupid jokes and funny stories, from guys who are, hours, thousands of miles away, any hour of the day. They're not afraid to reach out and bust my chops and give me a hard time. So that's a lot of the fun and a lot of the correlation I find between the military life and what we do, because, working in shitty conditions, long hours, difficult, high stress environments, but still being able to find the ability to smile and laugh it off and realize that, like, we're not building a church here. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't anything super difficult, but having those same guys with you to be able to go through those experiences and have the fun that we have is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. So talk a little bit about your ideal candidate, or who does well in this role. What type of profile is that person, or, and what does that schedule look like? Because you got 60, 70 races. Talk a little bit about that. And then if you guys have questions, I see Vanessa has one, we'll get to you. Throw your hand up and we'll get to you as well.
So the schedule, pretty much, it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or roughly thereabouts. Each guy will typically do about 11 to 12 races a year is what the standard schedule is, but you can raise your hand and work as many events as you want. And that's a way to supplement your income in between events. You can go, if you see something cool on the schedule, you just contact the guy who's in charge, contact me, and I'll put you in charge or in contact with the guy who's in charge. And then that is a way for you to just kind of remain busy throughout the year.
So if somebody says like, "Oh man, I'd love to do that event in Florida," they have a say in getting to see that area.
Yeah, because the races are all different lengths, right? So that means we need additional personnel for those longer length events that have more obstacles and things like that. So there's kind of a small fluctuation in the amount of people that it takes to put on the event. And for candidates, what I look for, like, there is no resume that looks like what it is we do. Like, no one has ever done this. Very few people have ever done this before. So when I look at a resume, I don't really look at what it is that people have done in the past. I kind of look at what might correlate to being someone who's a good teammate, has the ability to deal with high stress environments, work on timelines, someone who, comes from a background where hard work and dedication doesn't scare them. Like, the guys I'm talking to now, things like that, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, if I talk to a guy, like, I've hired baristas, I've hired people from Petco, I've hired people, who have no, applicable job skills to what it is I do. But if a guy can have the conversation with me and it seems like somebody that I can be friends with or that I can communicate with effectively, that's the type of guy that I like to bring on, because we'll teach you everything it is you need to know. And there is nothing difficult about what it is you do. So if you've put together Legos, if you had an erector set when you were a kid, if you built birdhouses, like anything like that, you have the skills that it requires to do this. Like, if you've driven heavy machinery, you know how to work hard, you know how to get the job done. And that's what it is that makes this group so special, because everybody is of the same mentality or mindset as I am, where we have an understanding that not everybody comes in with the skills. Nobody comes in with the skills to do what it is we do. and we'll sit there beside you and teach you how to do whatever it is you're being asked to do. And, that's basically what I look for.
Yeah.
So
I love it. That's good. Sheila, you got a question for Matt?
Yes. Hi, Matt. Great to meet you virtually. So for for all of us, we're getting out of the military and we're starting new things. You started basically like at the bottom as an intern, right? So did you ever think that you would end up where you are now?
No.
What was that like?
No, I definitely didn't. Right. So I actually started out as a volunteer. We have a volunteer program where if you come in and volunteer for a day, you get a free race code. So it knocks off the price. So you basically run for free if you come in and volunteer for a day. We started doing that, the group that I was training with, and I ended up working directly with the owner, not even knowing he was the owner. The guy showed up in like blown out military fatigues and a Flash Gordon t-shirt that you could see through. Like, it was so thin, it was thinner than a coffee filter. He told me basically like, listen, you're going to come work for me. And I was like, no. Like, I got things going on. I got, a life. And he's like, no, you don't understand. He's like, you're coming to work for us. And from that point forward, like, that's how I got in. That was my life. And I used to do like over 20 races a year, which 2 weeks at a time, 20 races a year. There were years where I was home, 60, 90 days in a year. I was just traveling constantly, living out of a hotel room, like a true carny, and I never had to make my bed. Like, I'd show up to the room every night and it was magic. That bed was already made for me. It was absolutely amazing. So no, I never anticipated I would end up here. It's been a true battle of will and attrition. There's a lot of people who come in who don't have the mentality like they're gonna staying power that I have. Like, I just will not quit. I won't give up on anything, and I'm gonna see this through to the very end. And when I started, there was 10 people that work for the company, and now we have over 300 employees. We have 70 plus races here in the U.S. We have races in 40 countries. It's turned into this massive beast that, like, I can't let go of at this point. Like, I no matter where I go or what I do, I'm not going to be associated. This is as high as on the totem pole as I can get. So I'm never going to let this thing die.
But it's like a baby almost. You've nurtured this, watching it grow, and what a cool thing, man, to experience that. What I love about this job, it's just a really friggin' cool job, I think, for a lot of people starting out who have the, want to be outside and have that, handyman type, desire, I guess. And then also, did I hear this right? To have that flexibility where they can work for 2 weeks and then they're home for 2 weeks if they want. And then that's for a lot of people who've been away for a long time, maybe you want to start out with something like that. Vanessa, did you have a question for Matt? I cut you off before I saw your hand up.
I was just going to ask if there was remote opportunities, or is this all in-person jobs that you're hiring for?
My jobs are all on-site operations jobs, but the company has a plethora of jobs that are remote, that are, more home-based roles and things like that. So I can tell you how to get there. You go to the Spartan website, go to the bottom, hit the careers tab, and it opens up all these jobs. So you can look through there and see what exactly we have available. And, any number of those are fun jobs. Fun. I use fun lately, like not as fun as what I do, but that's the, it takes a village to raise this child. So
I can imagine. But for his construction, is that what you call them, construction jobs?
Yeah, build crew is what it's
for the build crew. You can live, you live at home and they fly out to the location. So there's no on site here in the US. So for that, Jesse, go ahead, bud.
Oh, hey, Matt. I just want to say, man, that sounds so fun. And watching the video Man, it makes me want to try that stuff. Um, do you guys have any? Do you guys do this overseas too, like in Japan?
So a lot of our international races are run by licensees, right? So we do some international travel. Like we've got a race in the UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai area every year. We have races in Hawaii, but we always move a lot of those international races around that are conducted by the U.S. staff. So we've been to Iceland, we've been to Sweden, Denmark, we've been to a lot of different places. I'm not saying that you can't get in with one of those other groups, but there are always options for some weird travel that'll take you to some exotic places, and you get to see some cool stuff. So,
but yours are continental U.S., right?
Mine is primarily U.S. Yeah, gotcha. I run all the U.S. teams.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you for that. Thanks, Jess. Shelly.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear all about this stuff. I love an active lifestyle. I'm also a medic. Are you hiring medics at all? Or how does that work?
So we have a contracted medical team called Event Medics that kind of handles all of our, staffing of the medics that are on course. They also work for Tough Mudder, so they pretty much handle all the medical needs of those events, both Spartan and Tough Mudder.
Okay.
Nice.
Listen, don't be shy. You can come out and we're gonna have guys that fall off stuff or smash their fingers or stuff like that. So
yeah,
it'd be handy to have a medic.
I'm interested. I really am. So
how many people in here have done one of the obstacle course races? Put in the chat. I'm just curious. And if at the today's end of day survey, make sure to check the box if you are interested in learning more about Spartan and Tough Mudder, and we'll make sure to get your information over to them. So we'll compile a list for you, Matt, so you don't of anyone who wants to put their hand up to learn more about this. But anyone else have any other questions for Matt about his company and what they do? And I just love it because it's unique and it's different, and for some people just don't want to be in an office staring at a computer. I mean, what a cool thing to do. Cool option to have. So Matt, thank you so much for doing this, buddy. I appreciate you coming on.
Hell yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, man. I love talking about what it is I do because this is a lot of people have never heard of it. It's so much fun and I enjoy it. It's my life, so that's a lot of fun.
We have one more question here from Alicia. Did you have a question, or were you just putting your clapping? I couldn't tell.
I did have a question, and then I was
go ahead, fire away.
Second guessing myself. It's just a quick little question. One, I really appreciate your presentation. It sounds like a really awesome job. I love to hear your story about how you've built your way up in this company. My question is, are there part-time positions?
Yep. Yeah, we have everything under the sun. So we have our standard build crew roles that it's basically a team assignment, and you work all the events with that team, and any gaps in between you can go and fill in at other races. We also have people who aren't as regimented of a schedule, and that's a list of people that I have that I call when no one else is available, or I have gaps that I need to fill on events and things, and those people work once a year, twice a year, 5 times a year, however many times we can convince them to come out and play with us. So that's a fun job because you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go, and that's part of the fun that we have. So
yeah, for a lot of people, there's a handful, Matt, of folks who are like starting their own businesses. Do double up and do something else just to be a part of community and have different experiences, especially when you're young and starting your career, man. The more of these experiences you can have, the better. I love it. So,
And I encourage all my guys to be very entrepreneurial. You know what I mean? Like finding a way to supplement your income in between events, you know, and I even do it now in my role. You know, I've been around for a long time, but like I build horse shelters and fix fence and build barn doors and gates and things. You know, I live in the horse country of Florida. So I'm down here, you know, hustling 7 days a week. I'm on this silly computer for, you know, 5 days in a row. And then on the weekend, I'll bounce out and go do something. I can pound away on this laptop all day long and I got nothing to show for it. But if I can go out and actually get my hands dirty and you know, I love animals and nature and things like that. So I go out and work with horses and, you know, things like that. That gives me something to look back and actually see what I've done throughout, you know, all day long and sweat it out and have a good time.
What's been the coolest obstacle that you guys have built? Did I see one on there where you're like electrocuting people going through?
Yep. We have a couple of them, right? There's one called Electric Eel that you have to like crawl underneath, and it's got a bunch of like wires hanging down that run off like a typical electric fence, you know, so it's not a massive shock, but if you get your butt too high in the air or lift your head up too high, you'll take one and it reminds you to lay back down. Those are fun to watch. That's mainly a Tough Mudder product, you know, or an obstacle so that we put on the Tough Mudder courses. Spartan race, we've had some really big stuff that we built in the past. And I could tell you the names, but it doesn't mean anything. But some of them are like a double A frame where it's this huge, you know, probably 45 feet in the air, you know, and you have to traverse your way up the cargo nets to the top and then back down the other side. We've had all kinds of different stuff. We built some out of like giant Connex boxes where you have to climb a net up to the top of the Connex box and then slide down a pole on the other side, you know, kind of like a fireman's pole. We build giant bridges where we stack 2 Connex boxes on top of each other, and then you have to climb a ladder on one side that's like at a 45-degree angle, traverse across a cargo net that's kind of suspended between the 2 cargo, you know, big cargo shipping containers, and then come down on the other side. So there's been some really big stuff, but I mean, if you search Spartan Race online or Tough Mudder online, you'll find a ton of pictures of some crazy stuff that we've done.
Have you ever had like an idea for one that they've used, or do they have a whole team of people who do that planning of the type?
Yeah, like that. So we are an idea factory. We come up with some of the craziest nonsense you could think of. And a lot of them are out there on course now. You know what I mean? It's a very holistic approach to what it is we do. We don't have a designated team of people that just come up with it. If you come up with a crazy idea and you can draw it on a piece of paper or on a napkin, we'll figure out how to make it work.
That's awesome. Sheila, did you have another question for Matt?
Yeah, just a quick one. So for those of us that have done some of these races, something I noticed anyway. What's that?
You did too.
I've done 2 Tough Mudders and a couple of Spartan races. It's been a few years and a few kids ago, but something I noticed is the community of the racers is so like people will go up an obstacle and then turn around and reach their hand down to help the next person. Like that is just normal on those races, and it's such a community with a bunch of people that you don't even know. And that's just as a racer. So my question was, is working there anything like that?
Yeah, it translates directly into the workforce as well, right? It's a community, you know, and it's a brotherhood. And like you said, out there on course, like a lot of people find more joy in helping others to accomplish obstacles, and that directly correlates into us as a team. Like if a guy's in trouble, if a guy needs help, if a guy's struggling with something, we all run radios and we're a bunch of clowns. So we're on the radio, you know, rattling each other up and kind of, but also helping each other out at the same time, giving answers to questions. If you get a guy who's struggling or group of guys who's struggling on something, and there's another group that's right there, like they'll come over and help out. And you know, because it's the same group of guys day in and day out, you eat breakfast together, you eat dinner together, you travel in the vehicles together, you eat lunch together. It turns into this super tight knit community, not only for the racers but also for the staff. Where, you know, my some of my guys will text me happy birthday wishes or remember these things, and before my parents even get a chance to text me like happy birthday and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun, and definitely there's nothing like it that I've ever found out there, you know, in the world than what it is to be in a Spartan race, or in the, you know, working for the company that, you know, we're not a bunch of suit wearing professionals who don't understand what it is we do. A lot of us have come from a racing background and started out, you know, with the exposure of the on-site operation of the racing, you know, and then found ourselves behind a desk or behind a computer or out there on site putting things together. So
yeah,
it's
so
a
cool,
lot,
man. Thank you. You're a great representative of the company, man. You painted a wonderful picture of it. So, Matt, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you for doing this. Appreciate all you do for this community, because I know a ton of your population of racers are military. And so thank you for that. And we appreciate you, man.
All
We'll
right.
be in touch. Take care.
Thank you very much. We'll see you guys. Thank you all for your time.
Take care. All right, guys, that's a wrap for the day. Just fill out the end of day form.